From KVUE News in Austin, you're watching Texas This Week with Ashley Goodo.
Good morning. Early voting in the Texas primary runoff and special elections starts tomorrow. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott is pulling back on some reopenings. Let's get to the three things you need to know in Texas politics. As the number of new COVID-19 cases continues to increase, Governor Greg Abbott took action to try and slow the spread. On Friday, he ordered bars across the state to close and reduced dine-in capacity of restaurants. Rafting and tubing businesses are ordered to close, and all gatherings with more than 100 people now need county approval. The move comes one day after the governor banned elective surgeries in 4 of the state's largest counties, including Travis, and paused any further reopenings of businesses. Vice President Mike Pence is scheduled to be in Texas later today. He's speaking at a Baptist megachurch in Dallas led by a staunch supporter of President Donald Trump. But with the rising number of COVID-19 cases, the VP, who leads the White House Coronavirus Task Force, said Friday he also plans to get a ground report of the situation in the Lone Star State. Early voting in the Texas primary and special elections starts tomorrow. To help you make an informed decision, on Monday night at 6:30 p.m., KVUE News is hosting a debate between the two Democrats vying to take on U.S. Senator John Cornyn in November. Combat veteran MJ Hagar and State Senator Royce West. You can watch it live on KVUE, KVUE.com, and the KVUE YouTube channel. Again, that's Monday, June 29th at 6:30 p.m. When Travis and Bastrop County voters cast their ballots, they'll select someone to fill the state Senate seat vacated by Kirk Watson, who resigned to become the founding dean of the Hobby School of Public Affairs at the University of Houston. 6 candidates want the job, including State Representative Eddie Rodriguez from Austin. We sat down to discuss his campaign. You've served in the Texas House of Representatives for nearly 18 years now, but tell us a little bit about your background, what you do when you're not in the legislature, when you guys aren't in session.
Well, I work for a title company. I'm a vice president of a title insurance company, but mostly I like to spend time with my family and hang out with the kids and do that kind of thing, just to have a real life. Of course, session really doesn't end. A good state representative and a good senator will be working during the interim to get some bill ideas and to meet with the constituents. And of course, that goes on all the time for me.
Yeah, as a representative right now, you serve on several committees, you hold leadership positions. Why would you want to trade that in to run for the state Senate and be a freshman?
That's a fair question. It's a fair question. I come at this with a servant's heart. That's why I ran for the state House 18 years ago, and that's why I'm running for the state Senate. I want the opportunity to serve and help more people. The Senate district is about 800,000 people, and the House district is 176, and I think it's an opportunity there, being one of 31, to get more things accomplished for the people of Senate District 14. And I wanted to just take what I've learned in the House and my relationships that I have in the Senate. I have served with half of the senators in the House, and I want to be able to serve my constituents in a different capacity in the state Senate.
Let's talk about your time as a representative. What legislation have you passed that you believe has had the most significant impact on Texans?
That's a great question. There's a couple that come to mind, if I can list 2, if that's okay. I passed a bill in 2013.
Absolutely.
Okay. I passed a bill in 2013 to expand the free breakfast program to include 700,000 more kids in that program. And I think we've seen with this pandemic how important food is to children. Many kids get their breakfast and lunches at school, but for that they may not actually have much to eat. So I'm really proud of that, and I'm proud that I'm able to help low-income kids in that way. And the other thing is I expanded the dual credit program, which basically means that a high school kid can graduate from high school with up to 2 years of college under his or her belt. And that is good because the student can take those two years worth of credit to a 4-year institution, or they may have a certification and graduate high school with a clear career path, and they can start working right after high school. And I think that's something I'm quite proud of.
2021 Texas legislative session is promising to be interesting, probably a little bit contentious. Not only will lawmakers be dealing with a budget deficit thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, it's also going to be a redistricting year. So talk to us about the skills you have to help navigate that and get the goals of Central Texans passed.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I've been telling people this in a public setting, that just because I've been in the House for 18 years doesn't qualify me in and of itself to be the next senator for SD 14, but it is what I've been able to accomplish, and I've shown to be effective as someone that has been that is in the minority in the House, and I have been the whole 18 years, and I will be in the Senate as well. But I think what that experience brings is when you come to a really hard budget like we're going to be facing next session will be my 10th budget session. Next session will be my 5th redistricting session, 1 as a staffer, and then 4 as a member of the legislature. So those experiences, they count, they mean something, and they mean something, I think, now in this moment when you have a budget like we're going to have and tackling many, many other issues that we're going to tackle. That experience is really important. Redistricting, I've been fighting for the voters of Central Texas and Travis County for 18 years when it comes to gerrymandering, trying to fight for fair districts, just districts, and voting rights. That's what I've done as the policy chair of the Mexican American Legislative Caucus, and I will continue doing that in the Senate.
Yeah. What would be your priority legislation? You mentioned one piece of legislation, but what would really be your priority if elected to the Senate?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I mean, it's hard not to look at COVID and not say something like protecting the budget, and as it pertains particularly to funding of healthcare and public education. Those are obvious top 2 there. But I think another one that I would really focus on next session is universal broadband. I think that that COVID has demonstrated how the inequities basically that we have in our society here in the state of Texas and here in Central Texas, but the disadvantage that you are in if you do not have access to the internet, whether you're in the rural community or you're in an urban setting like Austin, it's a tremendous disadvantage. We might be working from home a whole lot more because of COVID, and we've seen that a lot of people are doing that. The same thing with maybe schooling at home. We don't know what the next semester, the next year is going to look like for our students in public schools. So you're at a disadvantage if you can't teach your kid at home. And then if you want to see your doctor as well. A lot of times during this crisis, people visited their doctors via telemedicine. And so I want to make it so that everyone has access to the internet, affordable internet access. And I think that's going to have bipartisan support. You have the Republicans that tend to represent rural areas. You have Democrats that tend to represent urban areas. And you have rural and urban, and we can, I think, get something substantial done next session. That's one of my top priorities.
There are 6 candidates on the ballot, so why should our viewers elect you this July?
Well, again, I think it really boils down to the right experience and the right judgment and the right vision for this to get us through this current crisis and to help us in the long recovery to come. And I have that experience. I have the relationships in the Senate already. Again, I've served with the many members of the Senate were in the House, and I served with them. And I think that's in this moment in time, you need somebody that has those relationships and and the skill set to get things done for the people of District 51. The fact of the matter is, this race is not about the 6 people running for this seat. It's about the people that live in SD 14, Senate District 14. Who's best suited to help them and guide them and lead in the Senate at this moment in time, in this critical moment in time, when we're going to have a very, very tough budget, when we're going to have redistricting, and we're going to have to face some tough challenges in the next session or 2. And I think that in this particular moment, my experience is superior, and it should be considered seriously. And I'm very happy, and I would be proud to take that experience and the effectiveness that it brings to the state Senate.
You can find more information about Representative Rodriguez's campaign and his platform at KVUE.com. Don't forget, early voting starts tomorrow, June 29th, and Election Day is July 14th. That's Texas This Week.